We're rolling.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 62 of the Jiu Jitsu Dummies podcast, sponsored by Fightback CBD. Get 20% off your order from fightbackcbd.com with code JJD.
Pretty decent. You did miss a couple of words, but we'll let that go.
Creative
Good
freedom.
job.
Creative freedom.
Good job. Yay for Miguel. We're also sponsored by Black Belt Digital Marketing. Anything you need to build your business, web design, Google Ads, logos, SEO, lead gen, social media, anything you need, they can help. Check them out at bbdigitalmarketing.com. My name is Milton Campus. I'm a brown belt training out of South Florida. You can check me out on Instagram at Uncle Milty BJJ or at the show's the Instagram for the show at Jiu Jitsu Dummies.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
My trusty sidekick over here,
Miguel. You could follow me on Le Carica.
Miss Vanna White.
Right. You could find me at my new Instagram, which is JJD_DJJ69.
Just to be confusing. We'll put it on screen. I did put it on the last episode.
It's like a palindrome.
I did put it on the last episode, so we actually took out the old one.
It's time I start interacting with the guests, and I just, I have a personal account. I don't want to intermingle.
I got that. That's fine. Yeah, start posting to it too, though.
Os.
Bo behind the camera.
Hola.
Welcome, Bo. Nice to have you back.
Nice to have my back.
Joining us today, we've got a very cool guest for you guys. Co-owner of Renzo Gracie in Austin, Texas. Black belt, Professor Jason Rebsch. How you doing, Professor?
How you guys doing? Good, man. Good, man.
We're doing good, man. Thank you for joining us.
Hey.
You saw the comedy that's happening over here pre-show.
That's right.
This is what I have to deal with every episode. So we'll dive right in. One of the first questions I have, we'll bounce around a little bit, but you are now, not officially retired, but...
Well, I am officially retired.
Okay.
Like, I'm officially retired, but my former department keeps me in a status called non-paid.
Okay.
Basically reserve status, but I'm officially retired. They just keep me around so I can to teach a little bit here and there, stuff like that. But I'm officially retired.
And where was that? Because you're in again Austin, Texas now. Where was that?
Houston area, the police department.
Okay.
And so now I moved up to Austin, which is like 2 hours away.
All right. How long ago was it that you opened the gym?
We opened last February 13th.
Okay.
The day before the winter apocalypse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got a buddy out there.
Yeah, it was crazy. We opened up February 13th. The next day, we shut the doors for the week because the entire city shut down.
Oh, geez.
Yep.
Yeah, so luckily I have a 4x4. So I was driving back and forth from my apartment to the academy every day to check on it, to make sure no pipes were burst or anything. Because,
Oh, you're talking about that cold apocalypse.
Yeah.
You're not talking about, I thought you were talking about the COVID apocalypse at first.
No,
I said
no,
1 year
no.
ago. That's 2 years now.
I didn't know this until this happened. I work for a water well drilling company, and we also do water plants. So we like lay a lot of pipe, and
He just wanted to say that.
just want to say that, and we drill deep, and so we use a lot of PVC. I didn't know that the resin from the PVC all comes from like Texas, like literally for the whole everywhere comes from Texas because of all the oil refineries and stuff like that. Man, because of that cold snap, PVC prices still have not recovered.
Really?
It's amazing.
It's right up there with plywood.
So it was because of the cold, not because of COVID. I'm thinking COVID.
Yeah, the winter apocalypse, not the COVID apocalypse.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you made it.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for your service.
We survived.
So, comedy over here. These guys.
He started. He woke up. Let me put him up. 3 seconds. I'm gonna put him up.
No worries,
Yes, it's like an honor.
Doggo alert. That's cute.
Yeah, man.
You got doggage. Dogowski.
How you doing today, Bo?
I'm I don't know, I'm praying.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm just hoping I don't die soon.
It's not gonna happen,
Got
buddy.
some crazy health issues.
It's not gonna happen.
Well, I wish I could say it on air, but something really crazy happened yesterday, which kind of changed everything.
Oh man.
Blew my
All right, guys. So hopefully that's handled. So there we go.
And Milton is
What is Milton
Milton is
doing?
praying. He's he's doing his 6 o'clock.
I don't even know what you're doing.
Is he facing Mecca? I don't know. Is he?
I don't know. That's not east.
Comedy.
He's looking north. Right?
Yeah.
All right, so let's get back at it after it.
Yeah.
So you open Renzo Gracie's in the middle of this
Can you hear
craziness. Don't worry about
you
it.
hear
Don't worry about it,
Sure.
We're
man.
good.
Ah.
We're dog friendly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Completely up to you if you want to do something about it. I
Let
mean,
me,
he's not going to stop.
I think he will. Let's,
Okay.
let's just keep going up.
All right.
You'll figure it out. They're doing a podcast.
So tell us.
Totally asleep until we started.
Yeah, of course. That's how it works. Murphy's Law, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your time on the force and maybe kind of, how you used jiu-jitsu or how you found jiu-jitsu and how that related to your time on the job.
Well, I started policing really when I was 19 years old.
Wow.
When I went into the Air Force, and I kind of started as a cop there. I got out, went to college, and decided to stick with policing. I really liked it. So got out of college. I went to University of Houston. I didn't finish though. I just jumped into a police academy and then started policing right after that for like the next 24 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I retired last year, of course.
Wow.
So,
What point did you find jiu-jitsu in that journey?
I was about halfway in. And actually, it's kind of how I ended up starting jiu-jitsu was because, I was on the street working and, Southwest Houston, you're getting into stuff all the time. And so I knew I was kind of getting lucky. I was getting into these confrontations and basically just tackling and grappling, tackling and smashing guys and just hoping for the best. And I was basically just getting lucky. So I knew I needed to do something. So I ended up finding jiu-jitsu as an alternative to working on getting safer in the street and figuring out how to handle people. And it was pretty much a perfect fit. And of course, it led me down this path I'm on now. So that was about 14 years ago. And now I'm here.
Nice.
So how did you feel when you first, went from the academy to actually being on the street? Did you feel like you were prepared, or did you know early on, like, yeah, I know I need something else here?
I didn't. When you're in the academy, they don't teach you much, right? They teach. We had a guy who was knowledgeable. I think he was a black belt in jiu-jitsu, as a matter of fact. But you get like a week of defensive tactics, right? So you're learning like some basic. I remember him showing us like a Kimura. He showed us. I don't know if you guys remember this one, ever seen this one, like that Americana Takedown, which I don't think anybody's ever hit an actual takedown.
Is it when somebody takes your back, like
No,
standing
it's
up,
like
and
this-
then you like?
Just imagine someone standing and you catching them in an Americana from a standing position and using it to take them down.
Oh, I saw that in a movie, I think.
Exactly. That's exactly what you're seeing. That's the kind of stuff you're learning in the academy.
You're gonna get punched in the head with the other free arm. As you reach with both arms for that one arm, you're just gonna get clocked from the other side.
Repeatedly, right?
Like,
That's exactly it. But that's the kind of stuff you learn. But I didn't put a lot to it. I just, I'd done policing in the Air Force, and we always, gang pile, tackle people,
yep.
or whatever. But when I got into civilian law enforcement, things started amping up a little bit. And so after a few years, I was like, some of these situations have gotten a little hairy. And another thing was I was having to use force, which was really, all I had was, tackle them and punch, that until they stopped fighting you.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that a lot. People would get hurt. Yeah, I would get hurt. That wasn't fun. And so I just kind of knew intuitively, like, I need something else. And, I did a little bit of research and looked into jiu-jitsu. And so I went and took some classes, and I was super hooked.
Yeah.
And I knew that this was the answer. It was something that was going to help me be a lot safer on the street.
So, I know this, this. From going from zero experience to even just 6 months, and you've said this, the level of jiu-jitsu and grappling that you learn in just those 6 months versus a person who has zero experience it's a big gap.
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel once you started, if you got in an altercation, did you feel that once you had even just like 6 months or maybe even a year under your belt, that you were able to like restrain somebody or without like injuring them, you were able to like control the situation better?
My ability to control situations definitely improved. I can't say it was like immediate, real fights on the street are pretty rough.
Yeah.
And when you got a guy that's fighting you for kind of their freedom, because that's when we're trying to take someone in custody, it's not even like a regular fight where you just two guys are kind of going
and
at
you
it.
get to walk away.
And I mean, you're in the town where they shoot the first 48. I mean, I know what's going on at that time.
Yeah, so they're fighting for their freedom. You're just trying to get them handcuffed. They're in a totally different mindset.
Yeah.
So it's never easy, right? But definitely I noticed a progression as I kept training. My ability to control people physically definitely improved a lot. And of course, by the time I hit purple belt, it was just that's when it actually handling people on the street actually got pretty, I don't want to say easy, but
I mean, zero experience.
Speaking, it got real. It was like when you get a new white belt in the class.
Yeah.
And you have to roll with it. It started feeling like that at about that purple belt level.
How did you just your confidence in putting on the badge? How did that change at that time?
Yeah, you're confident. I mean, if you go into being a police officer and you're not confident, that's not good.
Yeah.
Right job for you.
You don't want to walk around.
Yeah, but being falsely cocky is also not good either.
This is a very big problem. And it's a big problem in law enforcement. We have a lot of guys that think they're capable of things they're not really capable of. Because
you don't know how I am when I see red, bro. I just go.
I know a guy that says that. I know a guy that says, I got hands.
Yeah. All right.
Have you heard?
I got hands.
Have you heard Bo say I got hands?
Okay, yeah, I got
the hands.
I got a double leg for you. I got some humble pie I could sell you.
What happens to a lot of cops is that you put a badge and that uniform on, and you get this false sense of.
Don't worry about it.
I love it. Let it ride, man.
Yeah.
You feel this false sense of protection. Like I have this badge and gun on, and everything is fine. I have this badge and gun on, and everything's fine. Nothing. I'm protected. The public is going to listen to me, and my presence is going to be all I need. I can handle anything.
Yeah.
There's that bulletproof mentality when cops first get on the street.
And I think there was a time that was probably a thing, but not anymore. I mean, I always talk about my father was a cop. He started in the 70s. I mean, and he was in New York City. He was a transit cop, so it was tough back then. But I mean, I think there was probably a time where, you put on the badge and there was just people just gave you respect. That's not the case, especially today. Things are very different. And that was a different time too. The way policing was done.
Yeah.
There were some good aspects of it, but let's be honest, there were some aspects of it that were not good.
The good old boys
have a lot of the issues with public that we have today.
Yeah.
But I mean, we could be very heavy. Police would be very heavy-handed back then, and it was acceptable. Nowadays, it's not. We're in a different time, and we have to change and adapt to it. We have more tools. We didn't have jiu-jitsu back then, right? I mean, we didn't know. It was in Brazil and maybe a couple garages in California, like in Philly. Nobody knew. Nobody knew how to handle these situations.
And when you first started training, did you tell your professor that you were like an LEO or
oh yeah.
And so that way you would get like specific. I'm just saying, like, if you go and you show up to like your first like 10 classes and it's like escapes from back control, it's like that's not really good for like what you're trying to do.
Well, no, I didn't get specific training. Like it was just they kind of threw me in there, and it was like, okay, there's the sharks. You're the minnow. See if you last. And then we'll start showing you stuff. That was kind of the mentality of the school I was at. And then after like 6 months, they were like, okay, here, let me show you something that you're
got it. Oh, you had to earn it.
Caused you to get choked out a lot. And so,
nice.
But they didn't really pay attention to you the first 6 months. It was like, you're probably going to leave here in a week after getting beat up all week long. So
right.
That was kind of the mentality back then. I know a lot of schools, it's a different mentality now with schools as well as we've progressed in school.
I think they gauge who you are, and then they kind of tailor it around you a little bit.
I think they want to make sure they're not wasting their time on somebody who's not going to be here.
Exactly, but
you couldn't even take this, the initial training.
I also feel like, and I've experienced this, I feel that like professors will cherry pick who the new guy gets to roll with. They threw him to the wolves.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine if somebody like somebody who's just like, they threw him like with like somebody who's ready to go all the time, that doesn't care that you're a new blue belt. They're just going to highlight reel the shit out of that dude.
Yeah.
Like the whole role.
I've had it both ways. I've had it where, I've seen, Professor Felipe say, oh, no, don't, no, you're going with them. And somebody's also coming off the street and he'd be like, Milt, this
humble
guy,
him up.
give him a little humble pie, so I've seen
How do you do
sides.
it?
Say again?
How do you do it?
Oh no, I don't just throw people to the wolves. I'm pretty much when I have a new student in the class, I almost never let them live train right away. I found that new guys, especially if they're a little bit bigger, they rely a lot on that strength. And the minute they hit another new guy who's big, it turns into like two bulls just button heads, and that's when guys get injured and hurt.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I'll usually make a new student watch the first couple classes so they get a feel for what live training even looks like.
Right.
Because they got no tools. They have zero. They learned 1 or 2 techniques that day, and that's it.
So they'll drill, but they won't roll. They won't.
Yeah, my first couple classes, I usually don't let them live train. I don't like hold them back very long. Like, they're, everybody's itching to train.
Yeah,
they want to
yeah,
like. You know,
that's what we're there for.
Yeah. Till they're training. Boy, that first year sucks.
But they keep coming back.
They do. Yeah, because you a lot of car rides home with no volume, thinking about what just happened.
Has the mindset changed in the law enforcement community now? Are more people embracing the people that you know? I mean, I see it online and I see the Gracies. People that you know, are they starting to embrace jiu-jitsu? Not the departments, the officers, because sometimes officers are just like, I don't have time. I don't have the money. I don't, this, that, the other thing. They won't take it upon themselves. Are guys taking it upon themselves now to seek out jiu-jitsu?
100%. There's been a big change and shift in the law enforcement community, and I'm speaking about the officers. We're seeing it administratively as well, but with the officers, we're definitely seeing a shift of young officers wanting to train and wanting to learn jiu-jitsu, understanding like, hey, this is something that's valuable, and that comes from honestly a push with officers who already trained, constantly pushing the message that they need to be training and pushing and getting better.
Yeah.
And so bringing guys in, and then, it's like anything, the more you say it and the more it's going to start to grow. And it's really been a grassroots growth in law enforcement where you could say it's mirror society. There's been a grassroots growth with jiu-jitsu in society. A lot of people train now. Like, there's academies everywhere all over the country, which, back in the day, that was not the case. I mean, it was hard to get to a good academy unless you lived in like a major population center, right? Yeah. But now even small towns have at least a brown belt out there, maybe, probably a black belt teaching jiu-jitsu in even the smallest towns, right? Or at least close by. So there's been, and you see that in law enforcement, there's been a grassroots change. A lot of cops are training. My partner and I started Invictus, which has been pushing police jiu-jitsu for a couple of years now. And we started from the beginning with, just a handful of people that were members and following to, we've got several thousand that follow now and show up at our seminars and push the training message. So
tell us a little bit more about that. How does that work? Are you traveling the country? Are people coming to you? How are those seminars happening?
Well, we host seminars at host sites wherever whoever wants to host us. So we've been to Vegas. We've been to we've had here in Houston and in Austin. We've had one in Phoenix just recently. We got, because of COVID, that year shut us down a little bit because we had seminars planned in Seattle and also in Virginia Beach. But because of COVID, we had shut that whole year down. No one was doing seminars, the way it was that year. But we're back up and we're back to working. We're looking at trying to maybe do one in Jacksonville next year.
Nice.
As well as some other spots.
What's the official name? Because I see you have the Invictus Police Jiu-Jitsu shirt on.
It's Invictus LEO Jiu-Jitsu Collective, but it's Invictus for short.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. And so officers are, I think what we're seeing is two things. You've got people that are making the decisions that, that when they didn't want jiu-jitsu as part of the curriculum in the academy, those guys are starting to kind of retire and age out, right? And then you've got the younger guys that have grown up on UFC and MMA coming in and going, hey, I realize I need that. There's a guy on the street that knows that, or that thinks he knows that.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna catch a fist one day. So, right, I think it's a combination of those two things that are really going to continue to change things, right?
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. I definitely that you have to credit UFC. I mean, because it's so popular, people watch it, and what do they want to do? Well, what are they doing?
Yeah.
And then they start announcing, well, it's Muay Thai, it's wrestling, and it's jiu-jitsu. That's the three main arts that are mentioned, right? And so everybody wants to do. And what's great about jiu-jitsu, it's as close as you can get to a real fight without having to take blows to the face.
Yep.
So you can go pretty hard in jiu-jitsu and walk away at the end of the day. And for the worst part, you're sore, maybe your elbows hurt, maybe your neck's a little sore, but you're kind of okay. It's not so bad. You can go home. So that's what I think makes jiu-jitsu so popular right now, is that it's as close as you can get to a real fight without actually having to be doing MMA or boxing or something where you're getting punched in the face and all over the place, right?
Where does the whole Zen gorilla come from? I see that on your Instagram. And then
Yeah,
your logo is BJJ Cop, but then the gorilla.
I like gorillas. I think gorillas.
Who doesn't?
They're cool. If you watch them in a while, they fight like they do jujitsu. You see them rolling, hitting double legs, arm drags. You always watch those gorilla videos, and I just like the way gorillas are, the way they look, and I've always tried to consider myself kind of a Zen kind of guy as far as mentality and the way I present myself and the way I work and operate. So I just, I don't know. I just kind of combined the two, and I just liked it. I just liked the thought of it, I guess.
I wish I could get that jacked eating fruits and vegetables only, like gorillas do.
Right?
Yeah. And now I'm not in any, I'm not a police officer, and I used to be in the military, but like, do you guys do the functional training where, one person has a weapon and then you're training to either disarm them or like fight for your life type scenario? You guys do those? And how functional do you think those?
So let me explain this. Police officers get very little, if any, defensive tactics training, and outside of the academy. And in the academy, you're talking like a week. There's very few exceptions to that. Police departments do not train their officers in defensive tactics. It's a major, major problem in our country.
Wow.
And some do. Some departments are more progressive and have. My department through because I'm sitting there pushing it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I teach my guys jujitsu. I go down there on twice a month, and I teach jujitsu to my guys and keep them up to speed. And
let me interrupt. When you say my guys, are you doing that in an outside gym, or are you going into a police training facility and they'll let you?
We have a training facility with our own mats, and then I train everybody up at least twice a month.
So is it like department sanctioned, or these guys?
Department. Yeah, it's my department,
and they're allowing this.
Right,
okay.
It's a program
as they should.
Yeah, my chief.
Yeah,
my chief. I was very fortunate. Came to me a few years ago and wanted me to develop a defensive tactics program for our department.
Okay.
Which I did through jiu-jitsu and through a lot of other training aspects, C4C with Chad Lyman and Jay Wadsworth, those guys.
Okay.
And we developed a program through there. There we do address weapons retention. We address weapon takeaways. We address those things, but it's rare. Most departments do not address it. It's a very, very few departments address it. Very few places address it.
We've heard that from a lot of cops.
Mm-hmm.
Say again?
My producer said we've heard that same from a lot of officers.
And even something like, say, like Gracie Survival Tactics does not address it properly. There's very few people that do address that in a really functional way that handles the situations we deal with on the street.
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate that I work also for C4C with Chad Lyman. He's a cop out of Vegas, third-degree black belt, who runs C4C with Jay Wadsworth, another black belt out of near the Buffalo area. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but those guys are wizards when it comes to police defensive tactics, and they teach all over the country. I'm fortunate to be able to teach with them sometimes, but they're one of the few companies that are providing that training, and it's not cheap training.
Yeah.
But most departments really can't even afford to bring guys like that out on a regular basis because of the cost of it. And most officers are woefully undertrained. That's why we went through this whole defunding thing, which we're still partially going through.
We need more cops.
It was crazy. I was like, you guys, the reason a lot of these situations are happening, the ones that are bad, and I think the majority that we see were not bad. It's just ill-informed public and poor media perception that was leading people to think some of these situations were not appropriate. But where you did see where they were inappropriate or where they could have gone in a different way, it was just simply no training. Like there's no hands-on training. There's no training of how to take someone down safely or at least effectively
and hold them there.
Yeah. And so, when you have an officer who's not trained at all, they're dealing with a subject who's violent and trying to hurt them, and the subject starts to get the better of them, the officer's going to revert to their weapon, as they probably should. It doesn't have to go that way if we train officers properly. You can get officers that are capable of handling people in a better situation, more appropriately. I shouldn't say more appropriately. I should say handling them in a way that doesn't lead to a catastrophic outcome. Right. that's what our goals are, to bring them home, to get them where they need to go with as little injuries possible, and as well as us get home at the end of the night. But
I also have a follow-up question on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
How freaking fun is it to do that type of training?
Oh,
it looks super fun.
It's fantastic, especially when you get to put it on somebody else. And
Yeah.
And see the
Like
panic
all of
and-
jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, it is. It's hard work. It's a lot of fun. I'll tell you, the officers that come to the courses are blown away because they don't get that kind of training. And if they
Yeah.
don't train jiu-jitsu or any type of martial art, then it's the first exposure they have to effective, martial arts. And you just see their eyes open up like, oh my God, like
Yeah.
I need this. And so a lot of guys start training shortly after that because they realize how important it is.
Right.
How do you feel about the push that the Gracies have made? Henner and Hedon.
You want my honest opinion?
Honest,
I have an honest opinion?
yeah, honest
Yeah, why
opinion,
not?
absolutely.
So I will say I've been through Gracie Survival Tactics years ago. So this is what I'll say about the course, and I know they got 2 courses. There are some aspects of it that are effective. There's a lot of aspects of it I would never teach an officer to do on the street because it's not safe. Their push has brought a good highlight that officers need training. I think, and this is my personal opinion, and I've taken some heat from it because I broke down one of Henner's techniques that he was pushing officers to use. Me and one of my partners put it through what we call a pressure test. So you take a technique. Okay, let's see if this technique works. I'm going to apply this technique to you, and I want you to resist like you would. And so, look, I'm not a world champion black belt, but I've been training 14 years. I'm pretty freaking competent on the ground. I'm pretty freaking competent with basic techniques. And if I can't apply the technique on a resisting subject, there's no way in hell some officer with very little, if any, training can apply that technique on a resisting subject.
And an adrenaline rush.
So we pressure tested one of their techniques, and it went horribly. We got shot or stabbed every time. And that was me. And that was my partner, who's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, but he's also been training for almost as long as I have, trained at Extreme Couture, worked for Vegas for 13 plus years, Vegas Metro, who has an outstanding defensive tactics program. And he tried to apply the technique, couldn't apply it on me. We got a blue belt who's a young guy, smaller than us. We tried to apply it on him, couldn't apply it on him. Every time we would get shot. So we posted the video, and we didn't do it with an intent to demean anybody. But if you're going to put out a technique that you're telling officers is going to be used in a safe manner and get you home safely, and then I can't apply it as a 14-year black belt, that's a problem. And I'm going to put it out there and say, I have a problem with this technique. It's not effective. It's not working.
Yeah, I mean,
and they have more techniques that are like that they put out that we look at as officers who are trained and who teach defensive tactics and who are subject matter experts in defensive tactics, and look at it and go, that's not safe. So, my opinion is I'm glad they're putting a highlight on the jiu-jitsu. I don't subscribe to a lot of the techniques they push. And my honest opinion is a lot of it's financially based. It's an attempt to make a lot of money off of what they see as an opportunity right now in this country, to make a lot of money off departments who right now desperately realize how desperately they need to train their officers up to avoid some of these situations we've seen.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion. I'm very blunt about it, but that's just my opinion on it.
So I've you're not the first. Well, let me say that we had an officer down here in Florida. I don't know if you know who Freddie Trillo was.
Yes, I know Fred.
Freddie was on, and I asked him a similar question, and he said he did the same. He made kind of the same face you made. There was a face, and I knew that it was. He wasn't gonna be like, yes, I'm a fan. He's not a fan of people who haven't been on the force, who haven't won the badge, training other people in how to do these tactics.
It's different.
I'm summarizing.
It has
but
to be different. You know what I'm saying?
He wasn't the biggest fan. Again, I think he respected the push that they've made and the fact that they're a very they're pushing it and getting it in front of the right people, right? People at chiefs and department heads. But he wasn't the biggest fan of the fact that that they've never worn a badge, and you're teaching people who have never tried to legitimately put handcuffs on a resisting suspect.
There's so much more to it than just putting handcuffs on somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You're wearing a tool belt that's got probably multiple deadly weapons on it that can be used against you and have been used against officers routinely in encounters. You're dealing with policy and procedure issues. You're dealing with use of force, scale of use of force. When do you escalate use of force to a deadly situation? When do you de-escalate use of force situation from wherever it's at? These are the context of what we're using use of force in. And if you've never done it on the street on a consistent basis, you have no idea what that's like. You have no idea what it's like to have to make those decisions. You don't understand what a use of force continuum is.
Yeah.
Like, and all due respect, maybe they've been told what it is. They never had to apply it when your life, your partner's life, your career, somebody's health and safety is on the line.
Can you explain that? Can you explain that continuum? I've heard you explain it on another podcast.
There's multiple different use of force continuums. There's circle use of force. There's linear. There's a lot of different types. But basically, if the most basic way I can describe it is when you encounter a situation, there's multiple levels of use of force. One can be your presence. Just you showing up on a scene in a uniform is a form of use of force in the sense of your presence is there and it commands respect in the sense of if I start telling someone, hey, you need to do this or do that, that's also a form of use of force. You're going to verbal. If people ignore verbal, then we start looking at hands. We start looking at tools like tasers. If people still carry pepper spray, I hope they don't. But if they do, if they're carrying at the time, you're escalating all the way up to your firearm.
That's like ROE.
You have to choose where on that spectrum or where on that use of force spectrum you have to go to in that situation. So say somebody has a knife and is attempting to attack you or is giving you the impression they're in a position where they might be able to attack you with a knife and they're refusing to obey commands. You have to decide what level of force, where on this use of force spectrum am I going to go, right? I'm not going to go, I see a knife. I'm not going to go, well, let me try to Kimura this guy and get the knife out. Right?
That's what I would do.
Right. That's what Henry Gracie would do, as a matter of fact, on one of the videos I critiqued. But that you've got to understand where on that use of force you're authorized to go, how, you have to understand how to articulate why you use that use of force. There's so much to it. And when people criticize officers on the street, when they see, well, why did they do that? They didn't have to shoot them. They didn't have to do this. There's a lot of factors involved that people don't even understand or have the comprehension to understand in the sense of they don't have that training and haven't been in that situation to have to choose what use of force they need to use in the situation that's presented before them. And it's context, right? And if you haven't done it, you don't understand the context. You can have someone explain it to you, but it's very difficult if you're not doing it and if you've not encountered those weird situations to teach that.
Yeah, no, it's a certain Mr. Brandon said just shoot him in the leg.
Mr. Brandon?
Yeah, President
Oh,
Brandon.
Yeah, it's a joke.
It's good, Brandon.
Yeah. Hey, I just also want to say a lot of things that people don't take into consideration. You mentioned your 20+ pound tool belt that you wear the whole time.
Yeah.
And a plate carrier. Man, doing stuff with a plate carrier on.
What is that you're talking about?
Yeah. So like a plate carrier body armor, like, man, that hinders your mobility. And then also, if I'm not mistaken, like you have to buy your own, right? Like, so like, it's like you might be.
He's not wearing the same thing that like the military wears with that plate, right?
Well,
we wear usually level 3 vests, Kevlar vests, and it's not. We'll have like a small. It's an optional thing, but you can wear a small plate carrier, like in the little pocket right here to protect you from that. We don't wear the full kit the way like in the military you do. We don't wear that full kit unless you're like on a SWAT unit or something like that that's doing high risk activity. Then they're wearing full plate carriers.
It's still tough.
Yeah, no. I mean,
it restricts your mobility. And what I was getting to is like, so like a lot of people don't know this, but like when you're a police officer, like you go buy the handcuffs that you use, you go buy the accessories that you're
using. You get
using.
a uniform allowance, so usually, right? I would have.
Well, most departments will purchase your uniforms, your vest, your gear. Yeah. The only thing that I preferred to purchase this myself was my firearm. Yeah. It's the only thing I ever had to purchase. But
we hear your stomach rumbling.
That's these little guys going
in. No worries.
My department provided me. Most departments provide you with most of your equipment.
Yeah. My father back in the day, he had to buy a lot of his own stuff. So you're right.
Yeah.
But he would get like a uniform allowance for like if he was playing clothes for a long time, but his uniform,
And this is also, I think, kind of. I worked with like a lot of MPs when I was in the military. I know you were in the Air Force. I was in the Army, and so you were like, were you SF or SP? Because it depends on how old you are.
Back then, it was SP.
Yeah, now it's SF.
You had
for the Air
security
Force.
forces, you had LE. I'd started out security forces and I transferred over to LE.
Yeah,
and which was fun. And but it was just like civilian law enforcement. It was no different.
but you get standard issue stuff.
Yeah,
And
military they give you everything.
Right.
There's nothing they can do in the military.
But standard issue stuff sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in terms of like breathability, comfort. So if you buy your own stuff, it's like a lot of people just don't take it to consideration. Like if you're just like in stuff that's issued to you and it might not be the best, but it works, like it's gonna hinder your ability to do a move or even eat.
Well, but and yes, but you need to train with your equipment a little bit to understand how it works. And something else that helps with that is not being a large fat ass. Trying to
Being in shape.
get yourself in shape.
Hey, I take that personally.
If you're kind of fit, wearing your equipment is not that much of a hindrance. You can do quite a bit with your equipment on. When you're out of shape and overweight and you're trying to do the job, and now you're adding, first of all, if you're out of shape and overweight, in training, it's a little bit of a hindrance, right? You can't do a lot of techniques or moves that other people can do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now you add gear and rigs and all that stuff along with your extra weight, then it becomes really hard. And I know I come across hard on that, but I'm hard on, I preach fitness with officers as well as like, hey, you got to get fit.
It's going to save their life.
Yes, save your life, partner's life, save some civilians' life. Like you don't want to be that guy that's out of breath and has to shoot somebody or get shot because you just incapable of fighting. A lot of people don't know what it feels like to train to complete exhaustion and then try to fight. If you train, you do. You've been there. You've been so exhausted you can't move. Yeah, and so the guy's just doing whatever he wants to at that point, and you just physically can't do anything about it. So a lot of we talk about officers who don't know any better. They've never been there, so they think, I just see red, bro. I got it.
Deep waters.
I love when Felipe says, "Unless you're 100 and about to die, get a partner."
Yeah, I was telling my wife that. So my wife still training.
Yeah,
it's happening. I also train
a whole week or a week or two now, right?
Yeah. I train at Henzo in Weston, Florida.
Cool.
My whole family does. My kids, my wife, and so like my wife training, she's just like, they're really nice there.
Yeah.
And but in terms of like that, because I'm used to training at Felipe's where it's like in between a round, if you're tired and you're not 100. You better. He doesn't like the chitter chatter. Yeah. And I was like, "Babe, you're super lucky.
They let him break. They let him take a break.
No, it's just like you hear them. Like I hear them, and I'm kind of like secondhand. Like Felipe's presence is still in me, so I'm still just like,
get a partner.
Man, I can't. No, I can't. I can't talk right now. We gotta roll. Come on.
Oh, you mean like she'll try to talk to you?
Oh no! She's going to old ladies class, and it's really nice there, by the way. Anyway, if you're a lady and you're in the area, they have ladies jiu-jitsu Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. Just a little plug, but I think it's nice because some people don't want.
I'll send them the bill for that.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, give me a second, Jason. Hang with us for a second. I'm just going to do some shout outs to some sponsors. We do it about midway. So. Let's shout out DD214 Fightwear at DD214_Fightwear. Gear for patriotic rollers. We've updated the tagline.
Really?
Get 15% off your online order at DD214BJJ.com with code JJD. Huge shout out to Flow and Roll at Flow_N_roll on Instagram. We both got shirts on.
We sure
They're doing our podcast tee now. If you're watching or listening in the month of December, everything's on sale. Coupon codes are disabled. If you're listening after January 1 and beyond, use code JJD to get 20% off your order at flowandroll.com. And I have to reinforce this. If you're a gym owner or you want a nice kit for your next competition, check out their Instagram. Look at all the custom gis and no-gi kits that they do. The artwork is incredible. It's off the charts. Everything is awesome. He just posted some new stuff for one of his gyms now.
Yep.
Amazing stuff. So go check them out again at flow_n_roll on Instagram. And thank you to Feito IT and AV, who specialize in commercial and residential automation, security cameras, and CCTV. Check them out at feitoitav.com and let them know the Dummy sent you. New year, gym owners, update your security systems, your cameras, your doors, everything. They'll come in and do it all for you. They cover the entire state of Florida. We want to welcome the Troop Welfare Foundation again. We'll be talking about them again through the month of December and January. We're going to have somebody on from the organization. They're a relatively new nonprofit, but they're dedicated to helping veterans find outlets to cope with PTSD, depression, anxiety, and other mental health issues through martial arts, physical training, recreational activities, and, obviously jiu-jitsu.
Check them out.
Check them out on Instagram at Troop Welfare Foundation and troopwelfarefoundation.org. I said .com last episode. It will go nowhere.
Yeah.
It is .org. All right. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share wherever you're watching or listening. If you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to click the bell. All right. Get a notification each time we launch a new video.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for watching. If you're enjoying the show, please help us thank our sponsor at Fightback CBD. We couldn't do this without them. Head over to their website at fightbackcbd.com. Check out their growing line of CBD products and find the solution that's right for you. That's fightbackcbd.com. And get 20% off your purchase with discount code JJD. Also, check them out on social media at FightbackCBD. Now back to the show.
High-end sounds and graphics here.
That's
Jason.
right. Only the best.
So let's go back.
You know the guy right upstairs from me, right here.
He can hear the bell.
No, he's he's a vet. I was talking to him today. He's a veteran. Yeah, he's 31 years in the.
Get him training.
Yeah.
Oof, 31 years.
Yeah.
That means he stuck around, man. They kick you out after 20.
Oh no, he
man.
did. He was like he made a career out of it.
Career's 20. 31 means you got picked up by Congress.
Yeah. Well.
So I've got an interesting topic that I wanted to bring up. We've all seen this Detroit urban survival guy.
I was gonna bring it up.
Do you know about this?
Oh yeah,
You've seen him. We've all seen it. He's like making his way around.
I love him.
Memes. Well, I'm bringing him up for something specific. But first of all, I mean, how do you feel about we call it McDojo type stuff? How do you feel about the stuff when you see a guy like him and the stuff that he's putting out, the content he's putting out?
First time I saw him, I thought he was trolling. I was like, oh, this isn't real. This is some of
the stuff kind of feels like that.
Master King, American
self-aware.
Because it was so ridiculous. And then you realize it's serious. It's funny. Like it's funny. I don't mind. I like to share the stuff that I see in some of the funny memes and TikTok videos or whatever. But it makes me sad for the people who actually buy into it. And I guess this is a little bit of a thing that kind of comes from the old days of before people really knew what effective martial arts were. And this is just like a carryover. There's still these guys around just making up shit and teaching it like it's this effective.
Rex Kwando.
He said, and I thought that I had it here. His name is Dale Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe he was airborne. I believe his LinkedIn said airborne. I copied his. This is where I was going with this.
I could believe that, by the way. I believe he was
airborne is Army, right?
Airborne is any unit.
Okay.
And not any unit. There's airborne units, but you could. When I went to airborne school, there was Marines there. There was people from the Navy there. It's mainly Army, but if you're in a special forces type of unit or you're in a unit that is very tactical, they will send people to airborne school. So it's a military training.
I believe I thought it was on his LinkedIn bio. All right. So I decided to look him up. Said, I'm watching all the memes. I've been seeing them forever.
I love them.
And I saw it recently. There was he actually had some guys come in and they filmed and they were like, yeah, this stuff really works. I guess they were maybe online trolling him a little bit. So 100%. He brought them in. I feel like that's what happened. And then they actually stuck around with him and did those videos where it's like they go to do the move and then all of a sudden
they're in heaven. Yeah, right? Those are the best.
But he posted them. So then I'm thinking like you a little bit. I'm like, I know that he's not trolling, but now he's kind of trolling himself a little bit.
He knows.
Now he actually did that with both of them. They both did their version of the video where they tried to do the move, but then he pops in and he's like, oh, but you didn't do the move right. Okay, so now I'm like, let me look this guy up. I want to learn a little bit more about this guy. Go ahead.
I just want to give one compliment. That wall where he has all the weapons put up
looks good.
That is really well done. That guy should just do that for a living. Organize people's garages like that. And that dude, I would pay that guy to come to my garage. And I pay him to come to my son's room. He has my son literally has a bucket of Nerf guns. That's like this high.
Let me
If he
read.
would do that with my guns, I'd pay him.
Let me read it. I'm just going to read parts of his bio as it pertains to the school. So Dale Brown says, I'm founder and operator of Detroit Threat Management Center and Detroit Urban Survival Training. That's the one that we see. We provide preventative threat management services, education, facilitation, and community services for communities and corporations in and around the city of Detroit. Now I'm just going to, it's a long bio. And I get to the end of it and it says this, and this is, then I got angry. It says, we are very proud. I'm reading it exactly the way he wrote it, so it might not grammatically sound weird. We are very proud that there's been no rapes, robberies, carjackings, or murders of any family in our protected communities.
Okay.
And that's when I got really fucking annoyed, and I was just like, is this guy really telling me, like, he could absolutely say that? He can make that blanket statement.
It could be like 3 people in the community.
Yeah. Well, what community? I mean, I look at these guys and I'm glad that he's getting trolled by everybody. I just don't know if it winds up adding fuel to his own fire. Are we like making him bigger and
No, it's good. Let's make him as big as humanly possible so everybody knows. I like this.
I agree with you because I saw there's an officer that posted in a site recently that was like, everybody stop sharing his shit. You're giving him airtime. And I'm like, no.
The opposite.
Yeah.
Yes.
Joke it. Let everybody see what a jokey is. And the more people see that this guy's a joke, less people go to this guy for actual like self-defense or whatever he's teaching. I don't even know.
Okay. In a perfect world for me, from a comedic standpoint, I would love it if he was renowned and be loved by everybody. But by everybody only in the Detroit metro area. So then every fight that ever broke out in Detroit was just everybody using his moves against each other
and getting nowhere. It's crazy. I got a little annoyed. I'm like, let me look. I want to understand where this guy's coming from. Because look, I see he's like getting older. He's a little heavy. I see a picture of him when he was a little bit younger. He was in better shape. I'm like, maybe he's just out of shape and not doing this stuff correctly.
Yeah.
He thinks he may still be able to do it. I mean, my back hurts sometimes. I'm like, oh God, I can't control this right now.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure it out. Where is this going? Where is this coming from? But he claims to have a military background. And
I got a military background. I get whooped by 16-year-old kids. I get whooped by 16-year-old kids.
Yeah.
He could have been an accountant. The military is so big. There's so few jobs in the military that are actually, direct combat.
Well, there's one.
Majority of the jobs are support, right? Like,
that's what you do.
Mechanics. That's the majority of cooks. Like this guy might have been a cook. We don't know.
Hey man, I was a cook.
Like everybody's an important cog in the machinery that makes it work.
Everybody's friends with the cooks.
Yeah.
Well, the Air Force,
I believe he's a good cook.
They actually hired out. We had actually civilian cooks who cooked our omelets the way we wanted.
I know.
It was none of that mess that we had in the Army chows where they just slopped an egg on there and threw it on your plate before it ever cooked.
Hey man, I went to culinary art school.
Did you?
Yeah,
you're a good cook.
I am, but you're limited to what you get issued to cook with. You know what I mean?
The eggs don't have to be runny though. Why do the eggs have to be runny?
Why do they have to be runny?
They don't have to be.
They would never cook the eggs right.
Sir, I got drunk the night before. It's super early, and I don't care about you.
Yeah, 4 a.m.
What are you gonna do about it?
I have PTSD from bad eggs.
Oh man,
I can't even eat. If I see a runny egg, I'd like.
You know what that is, Jason?
Oh no,
that's the world's smallest violin.
Hey, Jason, tell us about Fuzz Tape. Is that a business that you started as well? Is that yours?
Yeah, we started out with my business partner with Invictus Ari and with Jason who does Jitsu 5.0.
I know, yeah. We've had Jason on.
Actually, Mike the Cop was part of the original. We were 4 of us that kind of started originally going after it. That was actually a response to Monkey Tape.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember this.
I have. It actually still pops up on top of you, even if you look up your tape.
For now.
But they, they did the thing where they kind of came out and said, we don't support Blue Lives Matter. And we were like, what? Like,
I didn't know that.
It literally sent me a big box of Monkey Tape, Blue Lives Matter tape that was like, hey, we support law enforcement. We love what you do, blah, blah, blah. They'd send me all this stuff. I got a card from the owner, I forget his name now, but he had sent me a card and personalized it. And then he comes out and says, I didn't even know we had a blue line edition of monkey tape. And I was like, what the hell's going on? Why would you even deny it? And so he kind of got sucked into the whole woke crowd, I guess, that was coming after him.
That makes yeah, I mean,
as a tape company.
Yeah, I'd be like, that's
he did. He
know your audience, brother.
He has enough tape to make his own lane to stay in. Come on, bro.
But he disavowed Blue Lives Matter stuff and called it like a hate organization or something.
Really?
And so we as police officers were like obviously super offended. And so we were like, well, we're not wearing monkey tape anymore. And we decided, well, let's try to make our own tape. So we come up with fuzz tape, which took a long time to get to. It's difficult to make a finger tape. But we kind of like what we've come up with. We kind of try to make it unique. We used fuzz because, back in the 70s, cops were calling it fuzz. We got to get a little tick on it. We're trying to make it look different. And we have some ideas. We're just kind of slowly going with it. We're selling it. Most of the officers buy it. And, it's just something we do on the side. And, not really trying to make a lot of money with it or anything. It's just an alternative for police officers who don't want to wear monkey tape, but they want to wear something that's supportive of law enforcement.
I didn't know all that was going on in the
I didn't know either.
I didn't know. I had no clue.
Well, it was a thing. He was calling me, the owner of Monkey Tape. He called Mike Edwards, Mike Cop. He was trying to explain himself.
Was he trying to apologize?
He didn't apologize. What he says is we didn't understand, and that he was told that Blue Lives Matter was a hate organization or racist organization or something, when it's nothing like that. All it was is something supporting police officers who were getting shot on the duty.
People who have a hard job, they want to get home and eat dinner with their family, man.
That's what it was. So he said that, and he goes, well, I want to clarify everything. So he comes out with a statement blaming us for misrepresenting what his
oh my God.
So we were like, you know what? Forget this guy. Let's make our own. Man. That's kind of how
That's the way I apologize to my wife. I'm sorry that you didn't understand me.
That's exactly what That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I had one of those last night.
I'm sorry you're so dumb.
A backhanded apology,
Yeah, honey, I'm sorry that you don't understand me as a man.
Oh my goodness.
All right, Jason, we're gonna get into some questions here now.
Let's do it.
Listen. These aren't our questions.
Oh, I know.
These seem to be a lot from people that know you. And wanted to take a little jab at you. So they're mixed in with some really good ones.
It all comes from love, I know.
Okay. You want to hit the first? We'll start at the top. We're going to go through all these.
I think you do this to me on purpose because you always put the hardest handle names on the first.
PTLM 5.050.
You see how I just like Instagram. Huckleberry Finned him into saying it? All right. So a question from PTLM 5.0. Good displacement.
5.0.
It's actually a 4.9, but whatever. What is a good workout for a seasoned police officer? Do you believe someone can learn from DVDs, BJJ, if they had previous experience in various types of self-defense and actual real-life fight experience?
Good workouts, anything that gets you in the gym, get your heart rate up, get you lifting a little weight, I think is a good workout. I like kettlebells a lot, but I also do a lot of kind of just standard, like regular bodybuilding type lifting. But anything that gets you in the gym, working hard, burning calories and keeping you fit is a good workout. Always like to combine cardio with resistance training. I think it also applies real well to jiu-jitsu if you can mix and match the two. And what was the other one? Learning jiu-jitsu
from like BJ,
DVDs.
Learning from DVDs and I guess YouTube videos.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think especially if you've got a little bit of training, a little bit of experience, or if you train someone on a consistent basis, you know, as long as you pick the right people, you can learn some fantastic stuff. I mean, you have the Danaher videos, which everybody are amazing. You have there's a lot of great videos out there. If you go to BJJ Fanatics, they put out so much good stuff.
They're YouTube alone.
Say what?
They're free content on YouTube alone. I get stuff from there all the time.
Keep you busy.
It's fantastic stuff.
Hello,
and
guys.
There's a lot of people putting good material out there for free on YouTube. If you go look, I mean, you got Jiu Jitsu and stuff like that.
Yeah, Jiu Jitsu's good. He's
fantastic. I like his stuff. But there's a lot of really good content. Yeah, 100%. I do it all the time. I go look, check out techniques and see different things. I'll do it before I teach. This is a little secret. I don't know. Most instructors won't admit this, but before they go teach a class, sometimes you'll be like, let me double check my technique to make sure.
That's okay. You're doing the opposite.
Got your standard guys you like to go to. Let me double check. Okay, I'm doing it right. Or no, I need to make sure I add something to it. Or, you'll see a different version of it that you like. So yeah.
You know, my first coach, he had just gotten his black belt when he opened up his academy, and he had, and I bought it too, was the Jiu Jitsu University book. He had that, and I would show up, and he'd be like this, looking at what he was gonna teach that day, and he'd pick the move from there, and he'd go, okay, we're gonna work on this today.
Nice.
You know, so it was like something to pull ideas from. I recommend for good workouts, and I kind of did this last night. I didn't watch the video because I've watched it a lot. Is Jason Scully from the Grapplers Guide?
Yeah.
I did it after we interviewed him. I actually did the membership, but he has some great free solo drill videos on YouTube, and it's just like it's just movement. So like last night, I was actually like my wife had a Zoom call with our insurance guy last night, so I didn't get to work out. I didn't get to go to the gym, so I went into the gym.
Yeah,
the mat's in the gym now, and I just did all the solo drills, and I try not to stop for 1 hour.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to stop, I'm doing something else. I'm just making sure I'm moving, just like I would at jiu-jitsu. I'm going to really be moving the entire time. Water break here or there, but I love those videos, and I still use them today. I've used them since white belt.
You want to know why that guy's awesome? He doesn't do a lot of this.
What, Jason?
Talking.
When he's when he's showing the moves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
I like the solo drills, and then also like his online stuff was always like, 50 leg locks in 5 minutes, and then just show you. He wasn't teaching you each leg lock. He was showing you options for when you're in a position, like pick something out. I really love those.
Yeah.
I've always touted him.
I just don't like guys that are like, I used to fish a lot by this river, and I slipped on a rock, and I noticed that my balance needed. And I'm like, oh my goodness, dude.
So I'm guessing PTLM 5.0. Do you know him?
5.0, man.
Not personally, just like through social media.
Okay. He says, how many subjects use your patrol unit as their own personal bathroom? Can you elaborate on each one? I don't expect you to do that.
How many subjects used?
Does that happen a lot? That somebody's peed in your car? Just relieve themselves?
That's pretty much every drunk.
Yeah.
That you ever yells.
God,
you ever have somebody just like I'm gonna pee here. I'm gonna pee in here on purpose just because you're arresting me.
Some are on purpose. I think some are just. It's a long ride to jail. I don't know. I never. A lot of I'd say I had one guy. I was actually doing a FST for DWI. He literally stopped me in the middle of doing I think he was doing the walk and turn. He said, I really have to use the restroom because he slurred it really bad. Yeah. He stops. He just whips his thing out and pees right there on video. I remember I was looking. I just made sure that the video was catching the whole thing.
Right.
I was like, all right, as long as all that's on video, that's evidence right there for showing how intoxicated. Yeah. You see,
I never even thought about that. I'm gonna save that if I ever get arrested.
Just actually peeing?
Yeah, in the car. That's smart.
Yeah, what do you hope that he's gonna let you out?
Puke.
So we got Ryan Hargrave. Sound familiar?
Okay. Yeah, I know Ryan.
Do you pick on old blue belts or just me?
I do like picking on Ryan quite a bit. But I'm an equal opportunity offender when it comes to picking on blue belts. I think that's the choke as many times as possible, repeatedly, so that we can improve our choke game much better. I think Eddie Bravo's feeling is that way too. Blue belts are there to choke the crap out of, right?
You're doing it.
My neck hurts
to help him.
My neck hurts. Like my neck is constantly sore.
Yeah.
Mr.
Blue Belt. Yeah, you want to hit that next question?
Sure. It's from the Rick Hay.
Okay.
The A Rick Hay. How am I supposed to? I
don't know.
Hey, what
Theory K.
Theory K.
Go ahead.
Take it for insomnia. What do you consider a really fun role? How has your jiu-jitsu changed in your late 40s? And what are your mat goals now?
So 3 questions there.
With only 2 question marks.
What do you consider a really fun role? What really floats your boat?
So that's Ari Nazan. He's my business partner with the
Oh, there you go.
So I don't know if you remember him. He actually ran, you probably remember Submissions 101 back in the day. It was like that first YouTube channel where like every technique ever invented was done. He had every technique done on like a breakdown of each technique.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like this is going back a while, but he was like a purple belt back then. And but he had this great catalog of almost any technique you could think of. And I remember I used to go, this is before I knew him, I'd go reference it before class to try. So what technique do I want to try today? And I would look at it, on YouTube. But yeah, we ended up making friends and starting Invictus. But so what was this question? What's a fun role? I guess a fun, I like, sometimes I like a good hard roll, but I'm getting a little older. So now like the rolls, which are a little lighter and just a lot of movement and transitions and stuff like that, I think are are my funnest rolls. How
Yep.
has jiu-jitsu changed for me over 40?
Yep.
Well, I'm slower, but I appreciate the gi a little more because I can actually grab people and just hold them in place when they're getting a little too out of hand. I think the biggest thing about over 40 is your body. Once you've been training for a long time, you do start to have a little bit more breakdown. Recovery's a little harder. Like for me, by the end of the week, like today, Thursday, I was feeling it this morning when we were training. My body's just at the end of the week, my body's feeling it. I need a couple of days recovery to get kind of juice back up and get ready for the beginning of the week on Monday. But you definitely start to slow down. You start to have that old man walk when you get up in the mornings because everything's tight and hurts.
Oh,
and,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your recovery? What do you do for recovery? What's your recovery program?
I'll tell you, I use something called BJJ Prep, which is a friend of mine. He's kind of set that up in Houston. He was a strength and conditioning coach for the Texans and a bunch of Division I programs. But him and his wife are both doctors in physical sciences, and they created like a really good injury prevention type program that's available. And I use it a lot of it for before I work out and get my body going, and kind of it increases mobility and flexibility. And I think it really does help with like injury prevention and strength training.
That's
stuff
good.
Like that.
So you're talking about like stretching and movements?
Yeah,
Okay.
before trying to do that, I do that. I always try to work out before I go train to get my body loose. I didn't used to have to do this. I remember when I was younger and I used to like to play a lot of pickup basketball. I remember seeing a lot of old guys. I say old, they were just like 31 or something. I was and they were over in the back stretching and doing all these things to get loosened up. And I thought that was funny because I would just jump on the court and start playing, no problems. Well, now I'm at that point where I'm the old guy that's got to warm up for like 30 minutes before I'm able to do anything physical.
That's me too.
Yeah.
I do it too. How old are you? How old? I don't know if we got your age.
47. I'm 48 this March.
Oh,
You look
okay.
great.
Yeah.
Knocking on 50. Thank you.
I'm 48 as well. So I
Feel me.
look, this is the first time I brought my massage gun to the studio because I just from working and sitting at the computer during the day. I'm like, I'm going to need it after sitting in the car for an hour driving down to Miami. I know I'm going to need it. Actually didn't crack it out, but now I'm carrying my massage gun with me because it really does help kind of loosen things up. And
Yes.
I can sit like this for an hour
You're a
without
traveling
like,
chiropractor.
I'm not
You know
gonna.
what hurts
I'm
my
not gonna
back?
massage him.
You know what hurts my back is folding clothes. Why does that hurt? Does that happen
Yeah.
to you? Like I'll be folding
You know-
clothes for 3 minutes and I get a weird pain in my lower back. I'm like, how is this even happening?
You know what it is for me? It's the looking down.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my phone. I'm looking at the computer. I've actually I sit in my kitchen now with the lowest chair I can find, so that I'm like my head is barely at the counter and I'm typing like this so that I could really look kind of straight at the computer. But I mean, that's what it is for me. It's the looking down. And then after a long day of that, going to the gym and then getting thrown around and, okay. Let's do some
And
rolls.
in jiu-jitsu, we're all hunched over all the time anyway, right? We're always
Yep.
curling up and
Yeah.
here. So we get this like hunched over thing where instead of being like postured up, and that like destroys our necks. and
I
our
use the
back.
soul right. I have the tiny soul right. I have the not so tiny soul right. I have the big soul right, and I have the spine soul right.
I've got the big one and the spine. Do you
Yeah,
use any of that kind of stuff? Do you
Oh,
like
man.
I
foam
don't even know
roll
what
and
a Scully is, but
It's so good. it's a torture device. It's a torture device.
Yeah, it sounds like something else, but
Yeah,
okay.
you're laying on, like you know what a plastic stegosaurus looks like.
Yes.
Okay, imagine if there was two right next to each other and you're lying on those spikes.
it just really gets into like the crevices. It's supposed to be for the psoas. I use it I go right up from my butt to my neck.
Yeah,
I use it. I go right up the spine. I go on. You can kind of lean on it. You can play with it a little bit. There are lots of videos for it now.
Yeah, it's named after the muscle. I think it's the muscle group,
Psoas.
the psoas muscle. So like you remember back in the day, the GI Joes that you used to they had the rubber band in the middle.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So that band is essentially your
psoas.
psoas muscle. It's what keeps you
The legs connects to the spine.
to the
Connects from the legs
to
the
your
spine.
lower body to your upper body.
I definitely will look
And if
into
we're
it.
getting this wrong, we're sorry. Somebody
Those
correct
are
us.
also
I'm totally a doctor.
Those are
Yeah.
also the hip. No, those
Yeah.
are hip rotators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an awesome device. I have it. I use it if I use it before and after training, I'll wake up a little
Oh
bit
my
better
god, it's the
next
best
day.
afterwards.
Yeah.
I lay down when I come back. I just bring it downstairs, put the kids to bed or whatever, and I bring it and I lay on it in the front, and then I got the spine one is for your back. There's one that's like the one for your psoas is just shaped like a U. There's only like two humps, and then
Okay.
the one for your back, it's got like 4 or 5 humps. I don't remember the number, but essentially it's like you want to put it on your muscles. You don't want any bone to bone contact because it's made out of very hard plastic.
Okay.
And it just essentially releases, tension points
Yeah.
along
Yeah,
where
no,
you apply it.
It's good.
It's good stuff. Free plug, I guess.
Yeah, right?
Send me the bill.
Yeah, send me another. Gotta send you another bill.
That's 2
Jesus.
bills.
All right, so we have another question from Monica's_dad. What has been the biggest change from being active law enforcement to retired? And they must know you because it says thanks, Lieutenant.
Yeah, well,
I'll
it's
take-
a social media thing. The stress level is just so much less. Like, and I didn't even realize how much stress I was carrying in me from 24 years in law enforcement. But once I was done, and I work way harder now than I did before. Like running a gym, I'm there many times. I'm there all day. Like get up, I'm there at 6:30 in the morning, and a lot of times I'm not leaving till 10 o'clock at night with little breaks in between. And so I'm working way more hours. Physically, it's more demanding because I'm always on the mat teaching or training or something physical. So it's a lot physically more demanding, but stress level as far as what I do every day is dropped tremendously. I can literally feel my blood pressure is way lower.
Yeah.
And he said it before. You said that when you're doing something you love, it's different. Like you're happy to be there. Even though there are some days that you're kind of stressed, running a BJJ gym and everything that comes with it, you're still like it's like a labor of love. Whereas in your previous profession, you've had some days where you're like, I wish I wasn't here. So.
And I loved being a police officer. Like
I bet.
I still love it, but there's a stress level that occurs in law enforcement, and it's another thing that people I don't think they can appreciate. But like when there's a slow form of PTSD that occurs because as a police officer that's working the street, patrolling, whatever you're doing, you're at a high level of readiness like all the time.
Yeah.
And you don't really get breaks from it, which is very unhealthy for you mentally. So like when you're always like near red line or super alert constantly, like every traffic stop, you go through these little things, you don't know what you're going to encounter. Then you realize, okay, everything's cool. You kind of calm down a little bit. Then the next one, then your next call for service, it may be nothing. And then it escalates into something and you got to take someone to custody. Then you're done. Like this is every day.
Yeah.
And your brain never has a chance to go from, because your brain's not supposed to be at that alert level all the time.
100%.
So when you do it for 20 years, like your brain is changed and you're dealing with things, the stress levels that maybe normal people don't deal with. I can't remember the statistic, but an average person has like some type of situation with extreme stress or chaotic situation just a handful of times in their life, where a police officer, it's innumerable. Like there's thousands and thousands of those throughout a career.
Yeah.
And so your brain never really has a chance to come down. You have a lot of officers, they'll result to alcohol, they'll result to other things. You'll see it spill over on videos where an officer just loses it and uses excessive force on someone. And it just may have been that breaking point where they just lost it.
It's a thankless job.
Yeah.
It
So
really
I don't have that anymore. And so like just training jiu-jitsu all day, all my encounters are positive, where before all my encounters were negative. So now everybody's happy to see me. Everybody's happy to come into the gym. All the conversations are about jiu-jitsu or what's going on in life. They're all very positive.
Right.
Leave, you're the best part of someone's day now versus before I was usually the worst part of someone's day. So
funny enough, like I've known several police officers and I've known firefighters and I've known, people who are EMTs and stuff like that and those type of professions. Man, if you run into a firefighter or into an EMT, it's like they're a CrossFitter. They will tell you within 30 seconds that that's what they do. If you meet a police officer, you could probably know this guy. I probably roll with police officers that don't say police officers just don't say they're cops ever. Like in public.
They don't want you to know.
It's like the funniest thing ever.
I didn't know I was a cop who I trained with because you don't bring it up.
Yeah.
Until like sometimes I would have to get ready at the gym before going to work, like if it was before a shift, and I would have people go, "Oh, I didn't know you were a cop," and it was.
You should have been like, "I'm a male stripper."
You should have. That would been much better. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to read this next one. He sent a couple of questions. This is somebody you know. Flatfoot Jitsu 24/7. You know who
James.
this is?
I know James.
All right,
yeah.
I'm going to read it just so I can send him a
It's either
t-shirt.
getting called out.
Seldom is it that I have the opportunity to pick on my friend, much less to do it in a public forum. So I'm fighting the urge to do it. I don't know how long I can resist. And then I commented to him, no, do it. so here we go. He says, were you always short or did you shrink as you aged?
The games.
I know you saw some of these too.
I know. He never goes a day without making a short joke. If he sees me, the short joke is somewhere behind when we see each other. I've always been short. Like I was born the way I was. I don't think I've shrank yet. I've been 5'7", and I'll stick to that. That's what the Air Force declared me, was I was 5'7", and I'm sticking to that.
Stick with it.
And that's what I'm sticking to.
It's on your dog tag.
He's also made some comments about small geese and Benjamin Button, but we're not gonna read those.
Well,
that means you're getting younger. I mean, Benjamin Buttons, you're getting younger.
If you go back and look at the comments on, I don't know if it was on mine or the one that you reposted for questions. He lays into you a little bit.
Is this the most questions any guest has
I think this is probably the most questions. A lot of people sent multiple questions, but yeah, this is probably.
You should feel. I think you're loved.
I don't.
The more hateful the questions, usually the more.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that.
So I'll let you give. We got April Parks at Brazilian JJ girl. God, you want to hit that first question?
At least she went with the full Brazilian, and then went JJ. She couldn't get beat JJ girl.
She's got 2 questions there.
Yeah. Okay. Question number 1. What is the greatest success you have had with your various organizations that you participate in and advocate for?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I think I'm the most proud of what Ari and I have done with Invictus and pushing jiu-jitsu with police officers. It's allowed me to connect with some really great people in law enforcement who train jiu-jitsu. Just really great people who are wanting to train jiu-jitsu as police officers and wanting to become better officers and better people. It's extremely fulfilling, the response we get from people who partake with Invictus and who just train jiu-jitsu and are just happy that there are other officers that recognize how important it is. I don't think we can take credit, but I do like to think that we've had some influence on the change that we're seeing today as far as more departments and officers training and recognizing the importance of training. So definitely Invictus has been my most proud thing so far.
Sorry, my phone is connected to the computer and it just rang.
Oh, got a swipe.
Wow. Sorry about that, Jason.
Oh, no worries.
I think he still sees us. We just don't see him.
Probably see us, but
that was a good answer, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Didn't mean to ruin
All of that.
The most serious question that happens.
Yeah, right. Sorry. I don't know how that. I thought that when you had Zoom on it automatically blocked it.
And that's how you know there's a God, right there.
We got the whole answer though.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, good.
Now there's a part 2 to her question.
Yeah, it's a 2-part question. Do you have a favorite story about how BJJ saved, changed, or improved someone's life in the line of duty or service?
Ooh.
There was one story I recall. There's been a lot. Like we get Ari and I and some other guys. We get a lot of messages from guys who are like, "Man, I was at work. This situation occurred. I was able to use this technique that really changed everything and got the situation under control safely." I remember one specifically. This female officer, she had gotten into a really nasty encounter. A guy really came at her hard, really beat the tar out of her. I mean, her face was just, what a face looks like after someone's beating the tar out of you. And she credited her, training jiu-jitsu and some of her other martial arts training for giving her like the mental fortitude to survive the encounter, to fight it off enough that the guy wasn't able to kill her. And that the guy it's been a few years, but I think either the guy fled when he just got done and she just kept fighting and he finally fled, or officers finally showed up and got him in custody. But she really credited just training jiu-jitsu and training martial arts in general to giving her the ability to survive the encounter. And I think that's really important. Like we talk about all these success stories of, hey, I double-legged the guy, got on top of him, commorted him, handcuffed him, I put the guy to sleep, slipped the cuffs on easily. It was perfect. And those are great stories. The really important ones are the ones where someone would have died if it wasn't for just that, which I think is what jiu-jitsu was meant for, right? Like surviving the encounter with a more stronger, powerful opponent and just having the ability to outlast them and then survive.
Mental strength too.
Yeah. And she really credited. I think that was one of the most inspiring stories I remember hearing about how jiu-jitsu saved somebody.
That's both
Very
horrible
cool, man.
and amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's back on the job working too.
Bam.
So I've actually had this next question. This was actually somebody had sent this to us. It wasn't directly to you, but they had sent it to the podcast. But I thought that this was a great time to kind of dig it out. It says, I'm a 42-year-old law enforcement officer and have been training for a year now. I'm about to be promoted to blue belt, but to be honest, there are days I don't even feel like I deserve it. Like this past week, I was the nail every day. I wasn't able to get into dominant positions, was being dominated by my opponents, both higher and lower belts. Just wanted your opinion on your experience. Did you have moments like this?
I have moments like this all the time. Like, I mean, this is jujitsu. Like, don't be discouraged. Like, I trained 14 years. You guys know we got the Danaher crew at our gym, so I train with them pretty much every day.
Congratulations.
Bro, like I'm the nail a lot. Like,
But you also won the lottery.
There's some monsters in there, and but that's jujitsu. And these guys, there's purple belts in there that are monsters, and hand me my butt. It's jujitsu. You go, you work hard, just keep getting better every day. Your jujitsu and your path is different than somebody else's. If you're a hobbyist and you're working just to get better through that and to improve yourself, accept that and give yourself credit. And another thing I tell you is, don't measure yourself on people who are training at the same time that started with you, because you won't see the improvement, because people improve and get better at different rates. Where you really see the improvement, especially in the beginning, is those new guys coming in, or those guys that have been training like 6 months less or a year less than you. That's where you see it, because you're definitely steps ahead of them for sure. And that's where you'll see the improvement. You'll see that those new guys are behind you, and you'll feel it. And eventually, a lot of these guys end up catching up. But you just got to keep showing up every day, and that's just jujitsu. Some days you're the nail, some days you're the hammer.
You actually said it. Miguel said it at the beginning of the episode. He was talking about, just a short time on the mat, a few months. You're way ahead of anybody that's going to walk through the door, and probably way ahead of anybody you're going to encounter in the street. Yeah. Now, also from a non-law enforcement guy, I would say, remember that the blue belt isn't a reward for knowing blue belt stuff. You've completed the rank of white belt, and now you're starting on this journey to earn those 4 stripes in most cases, right? And you're going to learn all the things that you need, all the tools that you're going to need at blue belt. The blue belt isn't like, hey, you're a blue, like, all the things. You're going to learn. Now you're going to be taught blue belt level stuff. That's the way I like to look at it, because we get that question a lot.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you've completed this first, now the journey, we say it almost at every belt, but like, now the journey begins. Now you've graduated to blue belt. You're going to learn all the things that you need. Don't worry. You're going to learn all those things. And again, you're going to feel a lot more comfortable than anybody that walks in that door after you and anybody you encounter in the street if you did have a problem when you're on the job.
Also, if anything, man, if you want to have that war, it's better to have it with your buddies and your pals and training. Like if that's hard, I don't think it's going to be very rare that you get that out in the streets. Because he said he's a law enforcement officer, right? He's 42 years old. Yeah. Yeah, it's better to have your wars there.
Yeah, and we all have these moments. And he says, do you have moments like this? Yes. Yeah. Every one of us has moments like that every time we train, whether it's one in that one guy that we always go up against who hands us our ass, but we may kick everybody else's ass after that. We have these things happen to us
I've only
every
had
week, every day.
one moment, and I've been training for 2 years. It's been the whole 2 years.
So how is it training with those guys over there? That's
congratulations.
Unique experience to have those guys.
Fantastic. It's fantastic. I mean, it's
how did that come together?
Say again?
How did it all come together?
They decided to make the move to Texas, to Austin. They contacted us. We're all Henzo family.
Okay, that's true. Yeah.
And so they contacted us, and we negotiated an arrangement for them to come to the gym and start training and building their own student base, and creating some type of affiliation. They're fantastic. John is everything you can imagine. He's a great guy. The classes are very different than probably a standard class. They typically go 90 minutes to 2 hours long. John, if you haven't experienced this class, there's no music, there's no clock. It's almost like being in a university. It's almost like being in college.
Well, he's a college professor.
Course. You're taking, yes, exactly. Well, among many things, but you're taking a college level course in jiu-jitsu, and that's what it feels like. I love every minute of it. When you get to a certain point in your jiu-jitsu training, you're looking for that. It's great to be a student. because you get to a certain point, I'm reading about brown belt level. There's still much to learn, but when you're in the same school for a long time, it kind of becomes a little repetitive. Your professor's teaching kind of a certain curriculum that he kind of always teaches. So it's on you to kind of find different sources. That's where you're going, buying DVDs and stuff. Well, with having, John and the crew there, like it's different. Like I'm getting a Danaher DVD twice a day, and or Danaher seminar twice a day. And so you're learning amazing stuff. And as people have been fantastic. It's been a great fit. We're very fortunate.
So how does that work now? You had your school and you had your schedule. Is it their schedule now, or do they just run classes at certain times of the day? Those are theirs, and then you have yours.
Right. So what we did is because they only do no-gi. What we did was we altered the schedule so that they teach twice a day, which is out every day at 10 a.m. and then again at 6:30 p.m. And then I teach around that. So I still have my 6:30 a.m. classes, which I always teach. And then after their 10 a.m. class, I'll run a lunchtime class. I just shifted it up a little bit. It wasn't that big of a deal. And then the night class, we go late because they run 6:30 p.m. class. And then so I'll put a 8:30 p.m. Class on the back end of that. So we keep all the gi classes in. And some of my students, a lot of my students are new. When you open a new academy, you get a lot of white belts at first. So it's a lot of information for them when they go to those classes and they get a little overwhelmed. They're still learning a lot of fundamentals and stuff. So they very much appreciate coming to the regular classes to work on fundamentals and some of the basic stuff.
I couldn't even imagine. We could all relate to like first week mentality of BJJ. I couldn't even imagine.
It would feel like, I feel like a white belt again.
It's already hard. I couldn't even imagine being brand new and then showing up to like learning like Ashigarami, and then from there.
You just have to learn all the Japanese names of all the
That's how it is in my school. Is that a Henzo thing? Is that like a Henzo school thing? Okay, my school, they only use Japanese names as well.
Yeah, I think that comes from John, though. I think John kind of set that out. Where it starts. He's very specific, and he does that out of respect for where it comes from.
Yeah.
And so I've had to learn because I didn't do that before. I knew mommy and some of this stuff, but now it's like everything's got a Japanese name.
I haven't used the word armbar in forever.
Oh yeah, jujutami.
Yeah, jujutami. Yeah, it's the only thing.
Everything.
Yeah. I am telling you everything. Okay. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Even like the nicknames, like how you guys would do like backpack and trip.
Yeah.
Like they would. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a name.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, yeah, he does do that. No, but I was gonna say they've been fantastic. It's been a great fit for us.
That's good.
So how, if you don't mind me asking this question, I'm like always business mindset. So is there an after this, or is this where they're going to be? Is there like a plan? They're going to go off and do their thing.
They're going to have their own location. They're working on that. That's a process. It took us a while to get our own location. We didn't just open up a gym. It was, over a year in the making of finding a location and doing all the things and open up. Yeah. And they're in that process right now. And
so will they be in Austin as well, or they're going to be someplace else?
They will be. They're going to be in Austin. They're going to be kind of opposite side of town from us. And but they're still working on all that. It just takes time. And eventually they'll get over there and they'll have their own thing going on with their own students. And,
it's good that you built that relationship, though.
Yeah, I mean it's great. Again, it's Henzo family. The Henzo family is fantastic. And if you're Henzo, then like everybody's really cool. It's laid back, but we all look after each other. We all visit each other's gyms if we can. Yeah. And
I'm new to the family, but so far it's been
I love
very
Henzo.
welcoming.
We were Gracie Baja before, and I don't know if it's Gracie Baja, but it was not a good fit for me or for our gym. And when we changed over to Henzo, it was a perfect fit for our personalities.
How long have you been out there in Austin?
We've been
you personally, like how long have you lived there?
I moved here kind of a year ago. I started setting up shop here, but I still kind of had a place in Houston, so I was in that transition. So I was kind of coming back and forth. We were working on getting the gym set up, but I was still kind of living in Houston, and I was just kind of going back and forth. I was kind of like in a little weird phase. So I'd come up here, just hang out at some of the academies up here, get to know people training, go back home, train and teach there till we got the gym opened up. But starting in January last year, I kind of officially moved and settled here. And we opened up in February. And
how has it changed there? I mean, Austin is this is like becoming the new Mecca for jiu-jitsu, right? I mean, if you Google jiu-jitsu Austin, if you Google jiu-jitsu Austin, Texas, it's just like that.
Not only
like
that,
on the Google Maps.
Well, that Joe Rogan.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like
Elon
Rogan,
Musk.
you guys.
I don't feel like it's changed that much.
No?
Barbecue lines got
That's
longer.
why I asked, like, how long have you been there?
Like, to me, that it's. I guess I'm just accustomed to it right now because I've been from it becoming like this. You know, when BT moved out here, you know, you got Shanji out here. We got some guys. We'll have more coming. I mean, that's part of the. I think everybody with the situation in our country right now, this is just a hot spot to be for jiu-jitsu and for businesses. And so we'll have more. The area is growing very rapidly. But it's kind of not that, you know, you go to tournaments and you're coaching guys, you still see the same guys. You like when I was in Houston, I was coaching against guys up here, competing against guys.
Yeah.
So I still see the same crew. I still see my same friends. We still talk, chop it up, all that stuff. You know, it's not that crazy. To me, it's not that crazy. But I guess from the outside, I could see where it looks crazy. But things are kind of, you know, still status. I won't say status quo, but everything's just going with the flow, and it's just, you know, more big names around here. But
That's
Austin
cool.
was already kind of happening, you know, like
Very
that.
cool.
Do all your exes live in Texas?
Nobody sent that question. You want to hit the last few questions?
Sure.
Sure.
I wanted an answer though.
Yep.
All right. So Nathan Sinoground asks, how are you as old? Hold on, I gotta read this, bro. I wasn't expecting that. How are you as old as King Tut, but still look so good?
I'm assuming that you know Nathan too.
That's. I guess I have to credit my mama for that one. I don't know.
Didn't King Tut die when he was like 30?
Younger, right?
17.
Younger.
Yeah.
This is maybe he's saying I'm old as a mummy.
Yeah.
I figured he knew you. Yeah, is that familiar?
Yeah.
You do look good.
Okay.
It's probably because you keep in good spirits and you moisturize, right?
Yeah, you know what? When I hit my mid 30s, I got nervous about getting wrinkles and stuff. And I remember going to like Dillard's or some shit and like going to like the counter, but like I need something to like.
Yeah.
So like for a year, I was like religiously putting on.
Yeah.
And then I just let it go. I'm like, all right, it's just
Dude,
the age, no big deal.
My wife is stressing out for me. Like, I'm not stressed out. Like, I don't really care what happens. Like, if I go bald, I'll just keep the beard and get more jacked.
You don't,
like,
you don't look a day over 45, man. You look good.
I know, but I'm 37.
Oh shit.
And it's funny. It's the same thing. I got like, I'll show up, you know, and it's like bedtime routine. And like now I have like a routine that I have to, it's not even for me. It's for like, I got to put this shit on my eyelids and I do it.
I used to be worried about the gray beard. Like I was like, man, when I originally started growing out a beard when we were allowed to in law enforcement, I would color it. And my girlfriend hated it. She said, don't color your beard.
Touch a gray.
Like, I like it gray.
My wife, I do. My wife wants this. I don't want. It's like I don't.
What
You
do
like this? I don't have to shave.
I'm
And did I say my
selling-
girlfriend? I said
Yeah,
my wife.
your wife, bro.
My wife.
I'm selling
my
Pepe too.
wife likes this, and if I can not have to shave and she likes it, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm
Valentine's
selling
special.
Pepe, yeah.
You heard of the Valentine's special?
No.
So there's restaurants, right? If you bring your girlfriend, it's 10% off.
Stop now.
If you
because
bring your
she hears
wife,
this, she's gonna think
It's
this.
20% off if you bring them both.
I'm new. I've only been married for 2 years, so it's, every once in a while, I still slip and say
I've only been married
that's a
twice.
girlfriend. They told me that everybody should do it at least once.
Yeah.
I did it.
I dove back in.
I waited till I was what,
I don't know.
46?
I knew you before you were married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Last question.
All right. Last question. Same person, Nathan. What are some fundamental concepts every white belt should remember while rolling?
What are some what? I'm sorry, my dog.
Yeah, it's okay. It's what are some fundamental concepts every white belt should remember while rolling? Don't grab fingers.
Don't grab fingers. I don't spaz out and try to use all your strength to not get submitted. Just,
100%.
try to relax and just go with the flow. That's my biggest thing I try to tell white belts. Just relax. It's not the UFC.
Don't overthink it.
You should go with the flow and roll.
Oh, hey, and we'll end it there on a sponsor. There
See
you
what
go.
I did there?
Now you don't have to pay for the other two shout outs.
Yes.
I have one last question for you, Jason.
Yes, yes.
This is the most important question that we've got for you today. You mentioned that you train in the gi. Do you or do you not wash your gi belt?
No, I do not.
Yeah.
Oh, there's another
Stinky.
one.
Woo.
Thank
Do
you,
not.
Bob.
I don't watch my. I know this is a big controversy in jiu-jitsu. No, well, I don't wash it. I don't want to fade it out.
I don't wash it.
I don't wash it.
Why don't you wash it?
Because I don't know. I don't wash
I don't
it.
know. He
I
doesn't
can't
wash
even
it, bro.
say why I don't wash it. I just don't want to wash that. I just don't want to wash it.
so you want the mojo. So this is all about the mojo.
Are you sure there's not some superstition involved?
I don't have like superstition with it. I've never washed my belt.
Samson's power.
Ever.
I think we might have just planted
Really?
a seed. We might have just planted a seed.
What's that?
I don't
I've
know.
never washed
A
the
seed of doubt.
Mm.
I saw you looking.
I feel like but I would never wash it. I would like if like my girlfriend tried to grab my belt and throw it in the washer, I would lose my shit. I'm like, maybe it takes away magic power. I don't know.
Okay.
Not that I have magic power. Maybe I should wash it. Maybe it'd make me better.
Yeah.
at
So we got a hashtag.
I hear standing Kimuras work when you wash your belt.
standing Americanas.
Oh, Americana's working.
Yeah. Standing Americana take that.
Well,
Standing Kimuras definitely work, by the way.
Those kind of work.
Those definitely work.
Yeah.
Jason, I want to thank you again for joining us. I appreciate you coming on.
Super fun.
Yeah, thank you
Okay.
very much. Don't hang up, but I'm gonna say goodbye, and we're gonna come back. We're gonna do some shout outs to our sponsors, but again, we appreciate you coming on, and if you're ever in Miami, please come and pay us a visit. We love to have you in studio and do another one.
Love to come out.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Make sure you Uber
All right.
because driving here is a mess.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Thank you, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys.
Take it easy.
All right, very cool, awesome
Awesome.
dude, right?
Awesome.
Very cool.
Super fun.
I would love to be him right now, though, in that be in that gym right now.
Yeah, that's like waking up in the morning and checking the lottery ticket and and all the numbers mashing. You're
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
oh, it's gonna be a good day.
That's I was surprised, like he's saying they're going to open another gym. I mean, it's, I don't know how big Austin is, but that's, still cool. I mean, they're part of the family. They'll build their
Everything's
following
bigger in
and-
Texas, so I'm
yeah.
assuming it's wide.
I'm sure he's building his gym as well, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I mean, the guy's getting a college education in BJJ, just like how he said.
Yeah,
It's got to be amazing to just think about that. I've listened to the Joe Rogan podcast with Danaher on it, and it's just like the guy is just like a fountain.
Exudes
and it just
like
comes-
knowledge.
And it just like from everything. I mean, he's
Yeah.
talking about sports that like we don't even know about here that relate. Like that guy's amazing. Yeah.
he is.
Shout out to John Danaher. I want to wear a rash guard to a fancy dinner one day. Like that
I
guy does.
never, because I kind of got away from doing the t-shirts and we're putting everything with phone roll.
Yeah.
I never did the rash guards,
Yeah.
which I have a whole different rash guard made with the Juan Danaher.
Juan
For real?
Danaher. We should wear them.
I'm gonna do them for just us, but I'm not gonna
Let's-
put them on the site.
Let's wear them for an episode.
Maybe
In
we could do
tribute.
that.
In tribute.
I got to show you the
Fanny
design.
pack?
It's like all the way around.
Fanny pack, rash guard.
Oh,
And
what if we had him on? What if
Yeah.
we had him on and when we put on the Zoom and we're in rash guards and fanny
That's.
packs?
I mean, hey, John, if we
Much
could
respect.
interview you,
It's all
much
about
respect and about love, but just let it be known that I will, out of respect and love, wear a rash guard and a fanny. I wear a fanny pack anyways. I don't know
Yeah.
if people know that about me.
Yes.
He knows that. I'm doing it.
All right. So let's shout out our Patreon podcast patrons, including gym
Hey.
sponsors, Carlson Gracie Winterhaven in Winterhaven, Florida. Check them out at, it's the website is cgwinterhaven.com and the Instagram is at Carlson Gracie _Winterhaven. Carlson Gracie Broward County in North Lauderdale as well. Carlson Gracie BrowardCounty.com at Carlson Gracie Broward County. That's down here in Florida.
Hey.
John Way Martial Arts in Plantation, Florida. JohnWayMartialArts.com at John Way Martial Arts. I said Jerebiah Berra last time.
Yeah.
Jebediah Berra. Shout out to our individual patrons, including
Yeah.
Jebediah Berra, Robert Walker, Frank House, Boa Athletics. Check them out on IG at
Boa.
BOA_athletics.
Means
Yeah.
good, by the way. I looked it up after you asked
Boa.
us. Boa, good.
Jason Smiley, CJ Carroll, Mission 22. We've been shouting them out at
Mission
CJ's
22.
request since we first started. Chuck Red Door out in Hawaii. What's up, Chuck? and Roberto Santiago down here in Florida. We love you guys. Thank you for all the support.
Chuck is funny, man. Chuck is funny online.
Did you see the? He sent some good stuff. He sent me there was like snow. I'm like, what is this? It was an observatory in Hawaii, and they were like the snow machines were like getting rid of the snow on the road.
Yeah, they had like 8 feet of snow.
It was crazy. I'm like, is this Hawaii? Like, even
on
like,
top
by
of the
the
mountain.
observatory.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It was kind of cool.
Yeah, they're above the
First,
snow line.
like he usually like he'll send us all like in a group chat sometimes some funny stuff.
That's cool.
Some funny memes. He's good.
Things
I like
you didn't
it.
know.
We used to call him our meme guy. I used to repost a lot of the stuff, but now it's just like never have any time to like repost a lot.
Oh,
of that
no
stuff.
time for Chuck, huh?
Yeah. No, I love you, Chuck. Don't listen to Bo. If you'd like to support the show, visit patreon.com/jiu-jitsu dummies. Join and you're automatically entered to win up to $100 in jiu-jitsu swag every single month. We put the listeners and the people from Patreon into one big bowl, and we choose a winner every single month. Check out @Jiu-Jitsu Dummies for all the ways to watch, listen, support, and donate to our scholarship program, where we'll award a 1-year scholarship to veterans, first responders, or amazing kids, or the kids of first responders and veterans. So we're going to be doing them from the podcast directly from now on.
Yeah.
No more foundation. That's gone as of November.
Don't make it
and
convoluted.
it's all going to be just about the podcast. All right.
That's good.
Take it away.
Oh,
Do the
yeah,
last
here
couple
we go.
shout-outs.
Big thanks to the We Defy Foundation for the support and all they do for the veterans. Very near and dear to me and my heart. And the jiu-jitsu community. They provide therapeutic relief for disabled or to disabled combat veterans through jiu-jitsu. Check them out at We Defy Foundation on Instagram, and you can donate anytime at wedefyfoundation.org. Also, big shout out to Fightback CBD. Get 20% off your CBD order at fightbackcbd.com with code JJD. Love me some Fightback CBD.
Yeah, listen, that roll on right there. Oh, get a shot of the roll on, the freeze.
Right here.
Listen, I take the
Pick it up,
nighttime,
pick it up.
nighttime CBD, and the freeze.
There it is.
I can't live with. I can't sleep without it.
You
And
remember-
it's great. I put it on, a little CBD.
You
at
remember
night,
those
go to
old
bed,
commercials for the headache thing? Roll on for a headache. You remember that?
Yeah, they did have that. They
Yeah.
still have that for like.
Yeah.
They have,
There was that gold bond?
Yeah,
got like aspirin in it or something,
roll
huh?
on for you death gripping that guy because you couldn't hold him.
What was that, like gold bond?
No,
forget.
it was
Gold
just it was
Bond.
literally
It was-
called roll.
it was like some type of like aspirin, like.
I love
I remember that.
I love saying like the technical name for aspirin because I don't know if you ever it's
Acetaminophen?
no it's like an analgesic cream or something like that. I think-
Analgesic.
Analgesic.
Not
Analgesic.
I read it how I
analgesic.
want, Bo.
But isn't it? No.
Analgesic.
Acetaminophen is like Tylenol.
Yeah. I read it how I
Analgesic,
want.
Anal. Oh.
Analgesic.
That's why, ladies and gentlemen, that's why we have Miguel on the
His
show.
brain should be arrested.
Because I'm not that funny.
Hey, English is a second language to me, so when I see that word and it pops out, it just pops out, you know?
Apparently, English is a victim for you.
When
When
anal pops up, when
What?
analgesic pops up.
Analgesic, yeah. So don't put words in my mouth.
Okay. This is like turning into that part.
don't put your mouth on
the
that
Howard
word.
Stern movie. Is like,
Oh, yeah.
if you say big dick sticking coming out of my mouth.
I haven't seen that movie in forever.
Oh my
man.
God! This video is not going to be this getting clipped from YouTube. All right, everybody,
Why?
listen. Thank you for watching and listening. We appreciate you guys. I'm at Uncle Milty BJJ on Instagram.
I am JJD_DJJ69.
Surprise! You put 69 behind it.
Hey, no, it's more
No.
because it's more of a yin and a yang.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Right? Dinner for two. You know what I'm
Bo?
talking about?
It's Bad Works, BADWERKS.
Why are you looking at me like that when you say it?
It's just
That's the way he looks. Just
so,
all
it,
right.
so it rolls out. Otherwise, I distract myself.
He's got to get in
Thank
character when he
you,
says.
everybody, for watching and listening.
Thank you so much.
Peace, love, and jiu-jitsu.
One of these,
Oh,
couple of these, couple of these, couple of these.
Where's this coming from?
So-
I don't know. That's like the
You did it to the.
that's
Jason,
like
you're
the that's like the underscore BJJ.
Oh.
This is the equivalent.
Toast.
There's the
Look,
underscore.
I think I can make fun of this stuff now.
He is toast.
All right, bye.